Hey Groovy Gardeners! Alright, let's do a follow-up video on my rooting in water experiment. Okay, so I'm going to start with the black currants. Black currants have been wildly successful, but it's been fascinating because they root at different times and kind of at their own pace. So a bunch started rooting about 3 weeks ago. I put them into soil. Then literally a week later, another group was ready. And so far I've had it's been 3 weeks. Each week I have one more group, and now I have another group that's getting ready to go. I want to show you what the roots look like. So let's see if I can get one here. All right, so black currant roots, they go all the way along and they're just kind of randomly appear. I know those aren't huge, but they seem to be doing fine when I get them into soil, so I am going to transplant these guys today. Of the 70 black currants I started with in water, none have died. About 40 are already in soil, and I'll put another 5 to 10 in today, and we'll see if the rest make it. Now, of the kiwis, they look very different. So the kiwis, once again, none of them have died, but they've been much slower to root. And let me show you what their roots look like on the bottom. All right, so instead of being random and all over the place, let's see if I can get focused in here. There you go. The roots are right down there at the bottom. And I've got about 40 or 50 kiwis. Some look like they're getting ready to root. These are the first group. So there's 3 still in the water there, and I put 1 into the soil. So rooting in water seems to be great for them as well. I'm kind of hoping that they're going to be like the black currants, where you get the ones who root early and then they just continually go on, but we'll find out. So black currants definitely works rooting in water. No bugs, no muss, no fuss. Plus you get to see the roots evolve. You can see who's ready and who's not. You don't have to disturb them and see how the process works. Now let's take a quick walk down. I want to show you what the black currants that are already in soil look like. All right, so let's take a quick walk down to where they are parked, which is down here at the other end. All right, so now the ones that were ready 3 weeks ago, they've got some pretty evolved leaf development. Most of them have got 3-4 leaves. They've got new things starting. There's lots of good growth. So they're very successful. And once again, they didn't have huge roots. They were like the size of the one that I just showed you when they went in, but they're thriving nicely. All right, so the next group that was ready, so this group was ready 1 week later, and the new leaves aren't quite as big. They're just starting to appear, but there are multiple shoots, and they're doing okay. This is the group that just went in the soil about a week ago, and you'll notice it has a bunch of little leaves. It's not because they grew so fast when they got in the soil. They were actually creating leaves while they were in the water. Now, will those leaves survive now that they're back they're into soil? I don't know. I really don't know. I do know that the big leaves that were on each of the cuttings when I first took them and have stayed with them through the water, those big leaves seem to eventually die off. So let's see if I can show you what some of them look like. You know, they just, once the plant starts to develop roots and get going, sometimes it just doesn't want that leaf and it just tosses it away. So it has been interesting to see. So there you go. That's the summary so far. Black currants rooting in water, easy peasy lemon squeezy, high success rate. They seem to adapt beautifully to the soil. Saves potting soil, saves time, saves running into aphids. Absolutely worth it. All right. Kiwis, we shall see. Oh, let's take a quick peek while I'm here. Now, you remember that group of kiwis that I did as cuttings just a little while ago? They were done with the Haskip experiment. Let's see if I can do this without a shadow. Holy cow, they are magnificent. Will you look at these babies? I actually have somebody coming to pick them up because they are growing so quickly now. They're growing at a rate of 6 or 7 inches per week, which is quite astonishing. Look at these incredible vines that they're throwing out. All right, so these are ones that I rooted early in the summer. I literally just snipped them off and I stuck them in soil. They rooted up beautifully after 6 weeks. I stuck them in the ground and they're growing like crazy. So I'm hopeful those little ones that I took out of the water will do just as well, but I'll report back in probably 2, 3, 4 weeks and I'll let you know. Did they make it? Did they do as well as these, which are really thriving and growing magnificently? Did they do better? So I'm loving this journey. I am learning a lot about rooting plants. Oh, and the Haskips, you'll notice I didn't mention them. No success. I've got 3 left out of 40 or 50 that are maybe kind of gonna root. Definitely not worth the effort. So rooting in water for haskip doesn't work. Works great for black currants. Seems to be working well for kiwis. I will report back on that. Not at all for haskips. Their leaves all shriveled up and died. They went all kind of weird. Haskips don't like the water, so not to worry. I am going to find out what haskips do like. And I'm going to do more of them. And hey, let's say hello to this little fella. I don't know if everybody remembers him from a previous video. This is my buddy. His name is Sea Buckthorn. And he's from a stick that was brought back from Ontario that I stuck in some soil. And look at that. He is alive and thriving. That's all new growth. So, hooray! Some stuff wants to grow. I'm not sure what the deal is with haskips. Why don't they want to grow? I guess I'll have to talk to the haskip spirit. So, hope everybody's having fun out there and enjoying life. Growing your joy. You know, watching stuff grow is a magical thing. Makes you remember this is a pretty magical place where we live. So, the news may be crappy, but the real world's awesome. Take care, folks. I love y'all.